Welcome to a special edition of Scrambled, where we are on the field with head VCU baseball coach Shawn Stiffler. Coach, thank you for joining us today. It's a lovely day. You guys have a game today, so we appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
Oh, it's great to be here
with us. And you've had one of your main goals this year, you said coming in, was to win a conference championship regular season. Right now, we're pretty deep in the season now. You're in first place. So how do you feel about your chances of accomplishing that goal?
Well, we've done a lot of things so far and won the games that I feel like we should have to give ourselves that opportunity. Of course, we still have a lot of tough conference games ahead. We got to go on the road this weekend, and we actually finish up with 3 of our last 4 weekends on the road. So we have quite a bit of work left to do, but the biggest thing for me is our guys are playing really good right now, and we're in a good spot, and they're very confident. So hopefully we just keep that up and stay healthy down the stretch here.
Now, the team that is chasing you right now is the preseason favorite, Rhode Island. You've got a game and a half lead on them, and you guys were picked number 2. So right now, about how people thought it would go, is it frustrating that you don't get a chance to play Rhode Island this year in a series that would probably decide the conference regular season? It
is. I mean, that would be a lot of fun. I think to be able to do that. And they have a great team this year, and with a lot of older guys, and so they're going to be right there in the end. They're going to be right there in the conference tournament. It is at times, but at the same time, it's kind of the way the balance of the league falls. And then there's years where you miss people, and years where maybe it helps you, maybe it hurts you. You don't know how it's going to work out. You just got to take care of the games you're supposed to play. And right now we have to concentrate on Fordham, who we have this weekend, and worry about ourselves, to be honest with you.
You've got a lot of great players coming back, a lot of returning seniors. You got a nice mix of youth and experience on your team. One of the experienced guys coming back, Darion Carpenter, kind of got off to a rough start with the year, but really has turned it on lately. He's got a 5-game hit streak, 13 RBIs over that time, 3 home runs. What has been the key for him to really turn it around lately and be a big producer for this team like you needed him to be?
Really with Darion, it was about him just staying patient and staying true to who he is. I don't think he ever lost his confidence in who he was as a player. He got off to a slow start, but there's a saying in baseball, hitters hit, and you knew at some point he was going to come around, and so he stayed true to himself. He's been much more patient at the plate. He's not getting himself out as much. He's waiting for a good pitch to hit. He's not missing it right now, and so he's heating up at the right time for us. So I'm excited to have him back going on all cylinders.
Now, another great bat in your lineup, probably the most consistent bat, is freshman Paul Witt. When you brought him in, did you anticipate him having a freshman season like this, where I think he's leading the team in average?
He is. We knew Paul was a very talented player, and when we recruited him out of West Virginia, we knew he was going to be a guy who could come in here and make an impact right away. But you would never put the expectations of a freshman to come in and lead your team in hitting, or you want them to come in, you want them to learn, you want them to develop, learn how to play, and put them in situations to have success. And for Paul, he just got hot literally out of the gate. We opened up at Florida State. He was hot that weekend and hasn't cooled off really since. And he has a mature, advanced approach to plate, and which is going to, I think, keep him consistently hitting throughout his career.
Now, he came in playing shortstop. He had some struggles there, moved over to second base. Since then, he's done very well defensively. Now, obviously, Zach Ching's done a good job at short, but do you see Witt moving back to short anytime this year?
I don't know if he's going to move back this year. I mean, obviously, we have great confidence in Paul to be able to play the position. For us, it was more of a situation of we didn't want that part of the game to affect another part of the game or to beat his confidence up. And we knew what Zach could do for us at shortstop, because he had done it a little bit in this program in the past, and to have an older guy there. So really it was about putting Paul into a position to have a little bit more success right now. I think future of our program, Paul will move to shortstop, okay? But right now we have a pretty good formula where he's very comfortable, Zach's very comfortable, our infield defense is playing good. So I'm not gonna try to screw things up too much.
You've got another freshman that's shown he's got a great bat too, and that's Darion Carpenter. He's come off the bench a lot lately and really giving you guys some great at-bats. Did you know coming into this season that he was going to be a guy that you could call to come off the bench and produce for you?
Versatility was the big thing that we knew with Steven. In high school and through prep baseball, he had played about every position on the field almost. So when you recruit a kid like that, he's going to come in and be able to do a lot of different things for you. That was the biggest thing. Now, him coming in and being as offensive as he has been, I thought that would take a little bit more time, but that just shows to his competitiveness and how ready he is. He's been a great weapon for us off the bench, one that maybe I like him so much off the bench, and maybe at times I haven't gotten him in the starting lineup as much, and he's working his way back in there now. Steven is one of those guys that you kind of fill up your lineup card, and wherever you have a hole, you just pencil Steven's name in, and that's where he plays. And so he's been a nice surprise.
You've got some nice depth in your bullpen, too. You got guys like Hayden Moore, Benjamin Dunn, obviously Sam Donko. How does that make it easier for you to manage a game knowing that you've got guys coming into the bullpen that can get you, 2, 3, 4 innings?
Yeah, that's been great. And especially we had a big piece go down to Matt Jammer, who hasn't had as many opportunities this year due to some injuries that he's dealing with. So to have Ben Dunn, Hayden Moore, Ryan Fox, Jonathan Eversole, Tanner Winters, those guys step up has really been nice, and especially Hayden Moore being a young guy, he's come in and thrown some big innings for us, and to see Ben Dunn from his freshman to sophomore year has been great, and obviously Sam was just our rock at the end. He's been fabulous.
So a lot of talent all over this roster, but where have they met your expectations coming into the season? That you had, a fair amount of expectations. So where's this team met those expectations?
I tell you, their toughness. We have gone through some times where we haven't always played to our expectations, and for as veteran as we are, we have a lot of guys playing new positions on the field or doing new things for us in the batting lineup. And this team has always stepped up when we needed them to, and so far. And so that's been the big thing for me. They seem to be able to turn the page from the next day, and if we have a rough night, get ready to play the next day. And so they've done that. And then we thought the pitching was going to really be a strength of the team, and the depth of the pitching, and it's starting to, as the season continues to unfold, show that and lean that way.
Where have they surprised you at all?
The young players have surprised me in how big of an impact they would have, because some of our older players, between Matt Jammer being hurt and Darion Carpenter had a slow start, Logan Farrar didn't get off to the start that he wanted to. He's been an all-conference player. Our younger players kind of carried us through the earlier part of the season. So those young guys coming in and battling and doing those things for us. Now you look up and Logan's hitting over 300, and Darion's starting to, he has a hit streak going on, and so those new guys in the lineup have kind of carried us and been the bright spot.
Now around BCU Athletics, there's a lot of buzz around Mo Ali Cox, who's trying to go from basketball to football. Is there anyone on your roster that you could see trying to go pro in a sport other than baseball?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm sure if they were all here, they all would say.
Sure.
They'd all say. We have some big pitchers like Garrett Pearson, David Mervis. They're pretty good basketball players. You get those guys. We could put together a pretty competitive basketball team in intramurals, I'm sure, with our guys. But I don't know. There might be a couple professional ping pong players in there. As much time as they spend doing that, or some professional. Professional. PlayStation players, if you count that as a sport, but I don't think we have any football players out there in there right now.
Darion Carpenter's a big guy. Seems like
that's true, and Logan Farrar was a fabulous football player in high school. A defensive back and quarterback. He probably could have played in college. So but I don't know if there's anybody ready that has quite the size and strength of Mo.
He's definitely a special athlete. Now, what your team does have going for it for sure, you've got some great walk-up music. Do you ever catch yourself kind of listening to your guys as they walk up and hoping they'll kind of step out of the box so the music will keep going?
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I like. There's probably more that I don't like than I do, but a few of the guys, Stephen Carpenter, he has one that, that's pretty catchy, and I know, a few other guys. Logan Farrar has a good one, and I think one of them has Iron Man. That always gets me pumped up when that comes on. So it's pretty cool when there's men on base and you get the right walk-up song coming up. And I always tell guys if there comes between you and another player, that walk-up song might be the one that gets you in the lineup.
JP Vale, I think, has my favorite walk-up song. So if you want to get him some at-bats, I wouldn't be opposed to that. All right, now. Who do you think, you've been in the ACC, or A-10, about 5 years now. Have you developed a rivalry with anyone? Is there one team that you all your guys look forward to playing?
Well, I think that U of R, obviously the crosstown rivalry is something that we keep, pretty close. And actually, I think that rivalry would be better if we weren't in the same conference and we played them midweek.
Right.
I think you could have more fun with that. And then since we've been in the league, we beat Rhode Island in the championship in 15, and they won it last year, so they've been towards the top of the league. And so I think our guys get probably fired up to play them. I think a lot of teams probably get fired up to play us when they come to this beautiful ballpark and play. And you typically a little bit warmer weather. I'm sure a lot of teams probably get fired up to beat us. So I wouldn't say that there's this, other than Richmond, this huge rivalry. But you got to be ready to play, and you play George Mason, and you play Rhode Island, and St. Louis is always very, very good. And so, we don't have the old in-state rivalries. Like tonight's a really big rivalry. VMI, they have a lot of Richmond kids on their team, so that's a big in-state rivalry for us tonight. And so we got to take care of our home tonight.
Right now, you're in first place. You got about a month to go in the season, but so far, we'll get you out of here with this one. What has been your favorite moment of the season?
It probably is opening day when we beat Florida State, and our guys from the get-go seemed very prepared and very poised to go down there and do that. And they hadn't lost an opening day, and I think in 20-some years, and really it was only about the second or third time that Coach Martin's ever lost an opening day. And so to play a legend coach like that, a historic program like that, to go down there and challenge yourself in a hostile environment and then win. I knew no matter what happened throughout the rest of the year that we had the character to perhaps put ourselves in a position to be a good team at that point. And so I was very, very proud of them for that, and looking forward for something to trump that.
Right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. That's head VCU baseball coach Shawn Stiffler. This is On the Field. Thank you for coming out here with us, and make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, VCU Sports. That'll do it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.